Hi, I'm Scott Solkoff, an elder law attorney in Delray Beach, and I'm going to talk to you today. The purpose of this video is to focus on you, the caregiver, because being a caregiver can be among the most demanding, most difficult jobs in the world, but also among the most satisfying, things you can ever do with your life. But it is rife with so many caregivers are silently suffering from depression and isolation and even a loss of identity. So I'm going to talk to you today about ways to be a better caregiver while also taking control of your own life, taking back control of your own life. So, being a caregiver means sacrifice. It means giving things up. It means loss of income in many cases significantly. I have clients who have quit their jobs or are taking significant losses of income in order to take care of a loved one, but they feel they have to, and they do. It can mean problems with family dynamics, significant causes of problems among families where one person, by accident of geography or other reasons, becomes the primary caregiver, and the rest of the family just doesn't seem to get it. Maybe they're farther away, or maybe they're involved in their own lives, or maybe they're right there and just not doing as much as you think you are, or vice versa, and it creates much rifts among families, opens old wounds, and causes people to fight about things they never thought they would fight about, including money and affection and competition for that affection. So, being sensitive to those issues becomes really important. Also, being a caregiver means stress. It means significant stress that causes problems in one's own health, problems with depression, and other maladies. But it can also be being a caregiver. It can be one of the most greatest deeds, mitzvahs, that you can do with your life. Because without you, that person would not have the quality of life that they have with you. So I'm going to take my cheat sheet and I'm going to sit back and have a little chat with you. And I hope that you will take what I say to heart, because I have learned so much over 14 years of doing this from my clients. Along with the sacrifice. We can focus on all the bad, but bottom line is, and I know this from talking to my clients, being a caregiver can also bring a tremendous sense of satisfaction and honor. Imagine having lost a loved one, being able to look back and the pride of knowing that you made your loved one's life better, that their quality of life at end of life was better because of what you did and because of your sacrifice. And in fact, I would think that without making that effort, there would be maybe more of a sense of guilt. Although, each of us has to make these decisions ourselves about what we're capable of doing and who we are and who the person we're caring for is. So, some tips to make it better. Above all, while we go through these tips, I have only one commandment. And that commandment is, thou shalt not feel guilty. Thou shalt not feel guilty. You cannot do everything. And you can say to yourself, I shouldn't have gone out to dinner with my spouse last night. I shouldn't have spent that time with my children. I should have been there when mom fell. But the fact of the matter is you will always feel guilty. You can never do it all. You will never be able to feel like you're doing enough. But you have to remember, and this will help, that there are at least two lives involved here, yours and the person you're caring for. And sacrificing one's own life for the other is not what it's about, and not what that other person would or should expect of you. So, first tip, set boundaries. Set boundaries of time, space, and emotion. Be able to say to yourself and the family and the person you're caring for that, I'm off tomorrow. Tomorrow's my day. Or from 4 to 7, I'm spending time with myself. I'm going to do that. And stay true to those boundaries. Of course, there are exceptions when your loved one really needs you and there's an emergency, you have to be there. But by being able to set time for yourself, by honoring your own personhood, you're going to be a better caregiver, and you're going to feel so much better, and it'll save you from possible depression and other problems that could adhere. So set those boundaries for yourself. Write them down. Make a list of the things that are bothering you, that concern you, that would add to your quality of life, which in turn will allow you to be a better caregiver to your loved one. Balance sanity and security with the preservation of your loved one's independence. All right, this is a big issue. When you're caregiving, it's very easy for well-intentioned, especially adult children and other caregivers too, to be very patronistic and to your loved one who's receiving the care, by telling them how it's going to be, or by taking too much control, and really thereby relieving that person of their own independence and say-so, and sometimes dignity. So being mindful that you do not want to interfere with or take away that person's sense of self-worth, even with encroaching dementia. You can still make that person feel empowered and important, and that's very valuable. But at the same time, you can't let that person, especially a person with dementia, dictate the terms of caregiving. I can't tell you how many times I have heard from dear clients that they're taking care of their mother or their father or somebody else, and that person is refusing basic care devices, or for example, bringing in a home health aide for respite for you, the caregiver, but where the person's refusing that caregiver, or the person's refusing the assistance of home monitoring devices, or I've fallen and can't get up type of thing, and just being stubborn about it. You've got to lay down the law and on a reasonable basis, while still respecting that person. And this goes along with boundaries also. You should be able to avail yourself. Tip number 3. Avail yourself of community resources that can make a difference in your life. And if the person you're caring for is resistant to those things, sometimes you have to lay down the law of, this is the way it's going to be. Now, of course, it's different in every case, but many times being a little more adamant about what's necessary can be helpful. Well, for example, there are adult daycare programs which would give you, the caregiver, some respite. There are, you can bring in a home health aide to give yourself some time to go out and get something. There are caregiver support groups, which you yourself can sit down with and talk to a counselor who moderates a group of other people who are going through the very same thing you are going through, many of whom could give you valuable lessons, and you in turn giving them lessons, which feels pretty darn good. But in order to be able to do those things, you sometimes need to be strict and be able to tell the person you're caring for that this is the way it's going to be if you're going to continue to sacrifice your own self for their betterment. Another thing, value your efforts, but not financially. Okay? It's very easy for caregivers, and this is especially true in family situations, to overvalue their services, or to think I should be getting more money. I should be getting more than my sister, my good-for-nothing sister, who's doing nothing for mom. But caregiving, providing care for a loved one, and inheritances or other monies are completely separate issues. And in order for you to be healthy about this, believe me when I tell you, you've really got to look at yourself as doing this service out of love and affection and honor, and for satisfactions that go well beyond money. That'll be much more important to you in the long run than money. But money causes problems among families. Don't fall into that trap. If you are taking care of the finances of a loved one, make sure you keep really careful records, and open the lines of communication to other family members, even if they are good-for-nothings and not doing anything to help you, because it will stop problems from happening and keep family peace. And in the end, most families care about that loved one getting the right care. So do these things. Keep these things in mind. Remember, thou shalt not feel guilty. Take that to the bank. Write that down. Post it on your refrigerator. And remember that always. So this is Scott Solkoff signing out with more tips and treasures on caregiving. I hope it's been helpful.